without any further ado, Black Belt, you're up. Take it away.
Hello, this is post-commentary Black Belt, jumping in because the audio gets screwed up on stream for a minute here. It'll get fixed when the run actually starts, but I'll do the intro instead of my talking head. This is No Glitches Allowed 10. It is a marathon supporting Goat Dogs Rescue that I did a run for in mid-April. Cute little marathon for a great cause. We love to support the puppies. If you still want to donate, I'll actually include a link in the description where you can donate directly to their organization and help them out. You are going to be seeing a run of Mirror's Edge Glitchless. I'm joined on commentary by Soulmass218, a very talented Shadow of the Colossus runner, and a buddy that I met through Noga. Noga actually has this cool program called Commentary Buddy, where they'll assign you someone from another speed game, they'll kind of learn your run, and then they'll help you on commentary. So that was Soulmass. Maddie's also joining me as host, and I actually helped him with a Slime Rancher run, which is pretty cool. If you're new to Glitchless, then this run is going to be full of lots of cool little tricks and exploits, but not a lot of the big, flashy out-of-bounds skips that you might see in any percent. I'll also mention that we're playing on hard, because the donation incentive said so. So I'm going to have less health, and guards are going to kill me more often, which is going to be some fun shenanigans. Anyway, let's jump back to the regular marathon commentary. Enjoy. Timing starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, here we go. First big skip of the game. I go into the menu and I skip the training section. So that's the first second and a half. And now here we are. Off to prologue. So there's 10 chapters in this game. They're each like 3 to 5 minutes. In total, it should be like a 15-minute run. This first chapter is called Prologue, and then it starts counting up chapters 1 to 10. There's a few bit of movement stuff in this game that's you're going to see a lot in Glitchless. The first is a wall boost. I just did one right there, actually. I have jump down to scroll wheel, and I'm going to use that scroll wheel to jump quickly on and off walls. And that actually brings my speed up quite a bit. Normally, Faith, the character in this game, runs at like 26 kilometers per hour. With wall boost, I can actually get up, like right there, up to probably like 40, even 50 kilometers an hour. Like here, that's another one. Basically, anytime there's a wall, I'm going to use it. The second thing you'll see me do, the next most basic tech, is bunny hopping, which is just a fancy way of saying that I'm going to jump everywhere I can. Jumping is like 4 kilometers per hour faster than running, so lots of jumping. There's a lot of fancy routes and stuff that I'm doing. If you've played this game casually, you might notice that it's fairly different than how a casual player might do it, but nothing too crazy. I can get over this fence, for example, with something called a glide. By abusing the collision, I can sort of glide off the top of it and get some extra height. But this prologue is going pretty smooth, some wall boost to end it. And we can just jump up some collision here to avoid staircases. Staircases are slow. This whole game is just going to be parkouring. There's a paper-thin story that I'll jump in and I'll explain briefly, but what you need to know is that Faith, the character, is a runner in a dystopian city where information is heavily monitored. So you need someone like Faith. You, a citizen, need someone like Faith. You hire her to deliver messages discreetly by jumping through rooftops and avoiding the mainstream channels.
Another thing you might notice is anytime that a door comes up, BBGN is going to be trying to kick the door or jump kick the door. It's actually faster to do that, or once he gets a gun, shoot the door open, than to barge through the door, which is a little slower. So
yeah.
Kick the door right now.
Yep, kicking the door means that I can do the next bit of tech, which I haven't explained yet, which is the side jump. Right there, you just saw it. Basically, anytime I swing my hand across the screen, I'm getting instantly to full speed. That's an in-game dodge mechanic called the side jump. Normally, you just use it to dodge left and right around enemies, but the added bonus is, like I said, it brings you right to full speed. So I use it to basically jump sideways, turn my camera into where I jumped, and then boom, I'm at full speed. And this is the first deviation you see because of hard mode. Normally, there are some guards there that I would just jump over, like Mario. But on hard mode, the main difference between hard mode and easy and normal is that the guards have a little more health and I take a little more damage. Or rather, I have a little less health. I'm not sure which technically it is. But the result is the same. I die very quickly. So I'm going to do my best to reroute around guards because guards are actually really scary on hard mode. Normally, I would just sort of ignore them on easy. So that's what you get for the donation incentive. I'm going to die a little bit more probably than normal to guards, but that's the fun of it, isn't it? I got to be adaptable. In terms of story, I skipped the cutscene, but I just met with my sister Kate. In an ironic twist of fate, I'm sort of against the law, and she's literally a cop. but she's a cop that's been framed for the murder of a famous political figure. So that's going to be most of the story, is going around investigating. Oh my gosh, I'm at very low health right now. Please do not die. Please do not die. I'm going to be going around investigating what's going on with my sister, investigating leads, and then eventually helping her to be freed from jail, basically. Nice little wall run kick here. I used that wall run kick to get down to this platform without needing to roll. There's a whole in-game mechanic where if you fall too far, you'll die. But if you fall an intermediate height, you can roll to prevent like this long hard fall animation where Faith grabs her knee and waits a half second. So I avoid that roll animation as much as possible. I mean, it's faster than a hard fall animation, but avoiding the roll altogether means I get to stay at full speed. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah, coming up pretty soon in the run, not too much further, we are going to have some portions which are, you're going to see a lot of the manipulation you can do with actions to negate that falling animation and keep ourselves from dying, even though we're going to fall a great distance.
Yeah, the wall run kick is really clutch. It's one of the animations in this game that actually puts you into a one-frame grounded state at the end of it. And yeah, I used it there to avoid a roll. I'm actually going to use it here to survive a fall that I might not otherwise. I'm not going out of bounds. This is an inbounds area. I'm just kind of skipping like 10 seconds of gameplay to get there. And then another wall run kick here. Actually do an instant kick on the wall. I missed it, so I'm going to have to take a roll. That's fine, just like a second time loss. But depending on when you kick on the wall, you can also manipulate the angle you leap the wall. You can have a whole degree in wall run kicks and kick glitch in Mirror's Edge. Like, this game system is very deep, and momentum is maintained in a funny way. For example, I can do a double wall boost to gain twice as much speed. And basically, I'm going to continue to gain speed. Another double wall boost on the same wall there. Another double wall boost here. This is a very fun section. I continue to gain speed pretty much near infinitely, up to like 120 kilometers per hour until I touch the ground again. So just jumping around, trying to chain together as many wall boosts and bunny hops as needed. One last big tech that you're going to see throughout the Glitchless run as we wrap up Chapter 1 is the sliding wall climb. If you wall climb with horizontal momentum, you can actually get very large distances crossed. I used that to cross that big gap there, skip like 15 seconds of going around. That's a pretty hard trick, but happy to have nailed it first try, and we are off to Chapter 2. Alright, so Chapter 2 here, just a bit of a missed jump there, that's fine. In Chapter 2, we are going to talk to another runner contact called Ropeburn. Not Ropeburn, excuse me, Jackknife is his name. Ropeburns later in the game. Jackknife, we think, might have some information that's relevant to my sister's framing, so gonna run through some storm drains and then eventually meet Jackknife. Lots of wall boosts in this area. Go ahead.
It might look like there's not much going on here in the storm drains. It's actually a really cool area because there's so much wall jumping and boosting going on that there's a lot of speed being built up that you really wouldn't notice if you were just doing it casually.
Yeah, so what you saw there was I'm just caning side jumps and wall boosts all together to keep my speed super high. It's kind of why my camera's being flicked around in all directions. This next trick is probably one of the hardest tricks in the run, to be honest. I'm going to use... I mentioned that I can survive long falls by kicking. The same thing applies to rolling and to grabbing pipes and poles. The only caveat is that...
Cool.
Yeah, you want to explain it a little bit?
Yeah, you're going to, there's going to be a roll, there's going to be grabbing a couple different things, so that didn't happen this time, but...
Okay, ignore that. I missed the jump. It's a very tight setup.
That didn't actually happen. Stream, you didn't see that. Actually, Stream, check this out. This is a really cool trick. So it's going to start with a roll, and then interacting with objects on the way down to cancel falls. So we never actually enter that fall animation, and yeah, we get to the bottom here, even though we fell a great distance.
Yeah, it's really sick. I'm also throwing in some of those like side kicks to prevent myself from going into the instant death animation. A little quit out and reload here. Save some time rather than having to wait for the doors to open and close.
Yeah, there's thankfully like a couple pipes running down there. We can sidekick off of those pipes to reset the fall, so that we never actually enter that fall state.
Alright, let's go the risky way here. The run's been going well so far, so I'm going to tempt fate. There's two different ways up the storm drains. This is the faster way. It's also the more risky one. There's not a single checkpoint along it. So we'll see how this goes. If we don't fail, it will go the other way. So I'm gonna do a quick little sliding wall climb on this wall to avoid a animation, and then a nice cheeky jump here. Maybe another. Nah, I don't have the good setup for another sliding wall climb. Now there's a guard up here that I have to pray is kind of nice to me. I should be able to juke him. And then a little springboard here. There's actually lots of springboards in the game that it's like an intended mechanic that lets you gain height. The developers put a lot of ones there, but if there's a collision in like just the right place for a springboard, we call those hidden springboards. They're not developer intended, but you can do them anyway. So I do a nice little hidden springboard to get up to an area faster than I normally could.
Yeah,
Another
normally
sidekick
the
here.
springboards would be they'd be colored bright red, so you know it's a springboard. But then there's other ones that are still springboards, but they're not colored like that.
That's exactly true. And then actually an added benefit of playing on hard is that nothing is colored red. Normally this game has like a whole gimmick where, sliding wall climb went wrong there. That's okay, just lose a few seconds.
Stream, you didn't see that. Just,
yeah, it's because I'm playing on hard. I'm playing on hard, don't even worry about it. Here we go, and that's what it's supposed to look like. This whole game has a whole gimmick where you, the runner, have runner vision, where like you can see routes through the city and they're highlighted in red. When you're playing on hard, that red highlighting goes away, which for a casual player makes it a little more difficult to kind of know where you're supposed to go. Believe it or not, I sort of have a vibe of where I'm supposed to go. Nice
Here's
little bit.
another interesting part.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, jumping off the top of that pipe is not intended, so we've reached this point before turning off those waterfalls. And there's actually collision on the waterfall, so we can stand on top of the waterfall.
Yeah, again, sort of a gray area in terms of what is or isn't a glitch, but the fact that that waterfall has collision, we just allow it in Glitchless, and it allows for a fun run, a fun route, and just a good time. We've done a lot of discussion about the rules in Glitchless. There's an infamous GDQ run about it. If you know, you know, but we're just here to have fun today with a Glitchless approved rule set.
I mean, if you've looked at any percent run and you want to see exactly what glitches look like in this game, it's way more broken than this. So this is definitely a valid glitchless category.
Yeah. Enough about that though. We're finally at the jackknife section. I managed to squeeze my way through some guards with shotguns. Fingers crossed. Normally I don't worry about them, but on hard I was worried. Now we're at the jackknife chase section. If I go fast enough, I should be able to pass him a little bit. He doesn't have collision, so it's fine. Another wall run kick there to avoid a roll.
Are kind of hilarious for a speedrunner because you're always getting ahead of the person you're chasing, and they kind of have to warp in front of you.
Yeah, if you go too fast, you see Jackknife start to teleport. He's cheating, which is a typical Jackknife if you know the character. A little wall boost here, add those in, get some extra speed. I'm also going to try to... Ooh, lost a little bit of speed there, that's fine. Just a side jump to get back up. A little bit of on-the-fly routing. There's a nice little sliding wall climb here over a fence that actually saves a pretty decent amount of time. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, I only wall climbed for like a half second there, but even with that brief wall climb and an instant jump out, I can maintain a ton of speed and jump to a section early. A cheeky little quit out and reload. It's faster in-game time to do that than it is to run down the hallway. And that brings us pretty much to the end of Chapter 2. We've got one more quick section here where I have to do a pretty tight jump. Let me jump into this cutscene real quick. But after I swing on this pole, I'm going to do a quick turnaround and try to... Whoop! We made it. Whew! Grab the ledge just barely. So that's what you want to see. Nice little wall boost, and then into the final cutscene trigger here. Off to Chapter 3.
Oh, there's a fun trick coming up.
Nice little, right there you actually saw me chain a sliding wall climb into a wall boost. That's how we get mega speed, at least in Glitchless. When you have glitches, you can do other stuff to gain speed, but it's a very fast strat there. Nice little fun bit of collision abuse here. I can sort of snake my way around that fence. It's a little bit tricky, but the game has enough sort of coyote time that it lets you get away with it.
Yeah, the fence is just a suggestion there.
It really is. A lot of things are suggestions. Another wall kick here. I can get a really nice slide here. Oh.
If you see any barbed wire fences, the barbed wire does damage you if you hit the sides of the barbed wire. But if you're landing on top of the barbed wire, it doesn't do as much damage, so you can actually use the top of barbed wire fences as a platform to move around.
Yeah, I tried to use that later on. You can't stand on barbed wire for too long, otherwise it will kill you. But it's one of those things where the end they're just a little bit broken. Like the developers clearly, all the love to the developers. There's a lot of rushing I think that went into getting this game out the door, as it is with many like AA and AAA games.
Oh, we finally have the gun.
I got a gun now, so oop, missed jump there. That's fine.
See, we're not going to be shooting people though. We're going to be shooting doors. It's way faster to shoot doors than to kick them.
Yeah, I can. For some reason, doors just like instantly open when you shoot them in this game, so I'm gonna use that as much as I can. Hopefully another little sliding wall climb trick here. Yep, perfect. Saves a nice half a second. It's all about swag in Mirror's Edge. We just try to do the coolest looking thing possible. That happens to be the fastest, but I only do it because it's cool looking. Like that is the culture of Mirror's Edge. Nice little wall boost here, and then let's see if I can just snipe the door. Perfect. I love this gun. I think it's very fun that I get to shoot doors, so I'm going to try to throw it down this elevator shaft, and then pick it up at the bottom. Alright, I threw
let's see
it.
if we got lucky.
I mean, it's down there. It's just, it might fall in the hole. There it is, I see it!
Marathon luck.
I love this. Okay, we get to keep the gun now, so more doors get shot.
Yeah, there's a couple more doors, so we did save some time by keeping the gun.
It's very exciting. I'm very happy to have this gun. There's one more door I get to shoot, so I'm going to keep this gun for a little while longer. Okay. A little jump over the fence here. Oops. Yeah, the thing about side jumps is you can see me sometimes I'll side jump and get stuck. Basically, if there's any tiny bit of collision on the ground, Faith will actually get stuck during the side jump animation. So I have to be super careful where I am and am not side jumping. I've sort of built up like a natural knowledge of it, where I can and can't side jump after playing this game for like 9 years. Ooh, nice little sliding wall climb wall boost there. But it can be very frustrating if you're a new speedrunner because like that little pole on the ground, this little ledge here, like you can get stuck pretty much everywhere with side jumps. So that's an instance of getting stuck. It can be very finicky, and the added complexity is that you're never looking where you're side jumping. By design, you're always side jumping at a 90-degree angle. It's always 90 degrees to your left or right. So you have to sort of just know the collision, where it is, where it isn't, and that's one of the complexities of trying to do this game, at least at a top level. Cool little trick there, if you hit W right as the game loads in, you'll get instant full speed on the load in, so that's how I start at full speed there. Another sliding wall climb coming up. Certain walls are like the perfect height for sliding wall climbs, and they actually give you an extra long sliding wall climb. This wall is one of them, so that's how I managed to make it over that gap. And then this little skip here is actually one of the biggest skips in Glitchless. I'm going to do a sliding wall climb on this bit of collision here, and then grab this. That skips like a minute. There's a whole scaffolding like set piece here where you jump around scaffolding. There's a whole scaffolding section over there. I skipped all of that with that little sliding wall climb. And bada bing bada boom, we are at the end of chapter 3, and at probably one of the most cinematic moments in the game. It might be interrupted by the fact that that helicopter, at least on hard difficulty, just becomes like a master sniper. So he just absolutely wrecked me, and that's RNG. There's nothing I can do about it. So just gonna do it again. That's hard mode, folks. Normally, if you play the game as intended, the helicopter actually gets despawned at some point, but I have skipped the trigger that despawns him. So I'm actually just gonna do a little, I'm gonna sort of break his line of sight for a second by crouching here. These are hard mode exclusive strats, folks, and then we're just gonna hope that that helicopter has worse aim, please. Okay, still alive, still alive. We're not out of the clear yet. We gotta make it to the door. Didn't even touch me that time. That's RNG for you, folks. That's the end of the level.
Hey, can you get a message to Miller? I need to see him again.
We're doing pretty good. For reference, I'm like maybe a minute behind my PB, maybe 30 seconds behind my PB. So we're on decent pace right now. Off to chapter 4. This is one of the chapters that in any percent we skip like all of it. So very different from the any percent route here if you're only privy to that route. There's lots of animations in this game which can prevent a hard fall. One of them is kicking doors. So I use the door kick there, kind of see her like stumble, to prevent myself from getting a really long hard fall animation. Other animations include like there's a vertical like kung fu kick animation that can override hard falls as well that I do sometimes. I don't need to do one here, but I'll show it off next time. So overriding animations is a big part of the run here, at least in terms of keeping your momentum up. Oops, a little stuck here. Let's just try this one more time. Then I have a backup. Yeah, I have a backup. Let's go for it. Bit of funny collision there. Can make it a little hard to get up, but that's fine. We're here now. This little shimmy animation, if I get jammed in just right, can also prevent a hard fall. So you saw my screen go red. I normally would take a hard fall there, but because I went straight into the shimmy animation, that's no problem. No hard fall for me. And now that brings us to the first boss fight of Mirror's Edge. This is the Rope Burn boss fight. Rope Burn is a wrestler that we were tracking down in Chapter 3. Ex-wrestler, I should say, turned businessman. And now we're looking for him. Oh, found him. The Rope Burn fight is an intense fight, especially on hard difficulty, so I need to perfectly time a right-click animation, that is the disarm button. I use it to disarm guards normally in the vanilla game. I haven't done any of that so far. The good thing is I don't actually need to time it. I can just mash the disarm button through this whole cutscene, and there we go. So I've done it. I've beat Rope Burn. He's gonna go after kicking him in the crotch. He goes and hangs here, and then I'm gonna skip the cutscene and let's just assume that he lives.
Yeah, don't worry about Rope Burn. Rope Burn is okay.
He's fine. I skipped the cutscene. He's fine. These guards do want to kill me though, not because I killed Rope Burn, of course. It's completely unrelated. And now we're gonna head down this elevator shaft. So, Mass, what do you think of the run so far? Anything you want to add?
I'm thinking this is actually a pretty good run. After watching you practice for a little bit, this is actually going very well. So I think you're doing great.
Yeah, I think this has been we've been on a good pace so far.
Something you brought up is, you know, you do have backups for things. And part of running this game is knowing how to mitigate anything that's not going right and knowing the backup so you can keep the run going without losing too much time. So, yeah, nailing the backups has been going very well.
Yeah, definitely. It helps that I've been running the game for like 9 years. You just kind of, I have some backups from like the old route too that I have stored somewhere deep in my brain, so I can pull those out. But yeah, this game is a lot like, I compare it in terms of like popular speedruns. If I had to compare it to any popular speedrun, it's most like Super Mario 64. Like this, Super Mario 64 also has a very deep, complex movement system based around momentum. It has like a whole, backlog of strats. I have to wait for this train to go by before I can proceed. Please don't kill me, guards. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me, guys. I am at very low health. I'm literally one shot. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. So, yeah, knowing the backup strats is a must. I'm still at low health, but we're good.
And as far as actually the way the game looks, I mean, the speedrun, if you've ever seen Half-Life speedruns, it looks a lot like a Half-Life speedrun. And in this tunnel here is actually a cool trick called I believe it's a
Strang bunny hop. It's based on strange.
Bunny hop. There you go.
We have a French speedrunner who misspelled the word strange as strang when he did a strang bunny hop. It's a bunny hop. I mentioned that like anytime you touch the ground in this game, you lose all your momentum. If you do a strang bunny hop, that is the one exception. It's a bunny hop that doesn't lose momentum, and that's what makes it so strange. So I just did a little strang bunny hop in that tunnel. They basically happen pseudo-randomly. It happens whenever the game expects you to land somewhere that you don't land. So usually like landing on a sloped surface will trigger that behavior. And this is the end of Chapter 4. This is basically an auto-scroller now. So during this auto-scroller, I'll give the host an option. Do you have any donations or anything you want to add as we sort of wait for this to happen?
Sure thing. Well, we do have a few donations that I haven't read off yet. We have $47 from MaddyInc. I wonder who that is. I see that hard mode is not met for Mirror's Edge. We had best make sure that happens. And then we have $20 from Soulmass218, who always wanted to meet the real Saint Nick, and that is, of course, going to the donation incentive to meet Saint Nicholas in Anno, which is the next game coming up here. So thank you for that.
Y'all, thank you, Soulmass, for donating to this lovely hard mode run, which has indeed made me lose time. Really appreciate that.
Well, it's Maddie actually.
Oh, it's Maddie.
Donated that.
Gosh, that's what I meant to
Blame
say. Sorry.
Maddie.
I'm
I
trying to
just
play
wanted to
video
use
games
Saint
here.
Nick.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's
But
all
thank you,
good.
Maddie.
It's all
Thank you,
good.
Maddie. And thank you so much for donating as well.
An interesting thing about that auto scroll section is you aren't actually scrolling on the train. The hallway around you is the part of the game that's moving.
Yeah, it's all spoken mirrors. The game actually just moves the hallway. So, very funny. I am now just gonna run past these guards. Hopefully, that's hard mode RNG for you. These guards are like normally gonna instant kill you. I actually have a whole setup here, which I glossed over, so the game is giving me a chance to explain it more in depth. What you do here is you actually run into their trigger, run out of it, like this. And then what that should do is it should make it so they now have terrible aim. Ooh. I'm gonna give it one more shot, and then I have a backup route.
They actually have great aim.
Yeah, it turns out they just are like, they've been practicing lately, and I kind of respect the hustle there. We built this into the estimate, so we're all good, but let's try this again. In, out of the trigger, and then go. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, no, wait, never mind. Never mind,
Oh,
we're fine,
no.
we're fine, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. They're not gonna touch me. They're gonna miss. We're all good. Okay, they shot me once, but we're fine. Let's just cut this way.
Only
Yeah!
Imperial stormtroopers could be this precise.
Yeah, that's basically... They have Stormtrooper aim if I go in and out of their trigger like that. I have to go a little slow through this hallway to make sure that this next section actually loads in properly. So we should be good now. This elevator, yep, it's loaded in. All good. There's a few different sections of the game where if you go too fast, the game kind of freaks out. So this is one of those sections. We're in chapter 5 now. I'm going to a mall. I was tipped off after interrogating Ropeburn on that rooftop and definitely letting him live. I was told that there's something in the mall that I probably want to see, so I'm going to the mall. Not just for fun, but to sort of investigate, again, my sister's framing.
Will you pick me up something from Hot Topic?
I wish. It would be her aesthetic, if you've ever seen the aesthetic of this game. Another little wall run kick here, coming up to prevent me from having to roll. And then here's that barbed wire thing that Solmass was mentioning. I can jump right on the barbed wire here. I didn't land on the little ledge, but that's fine. I can just do a little wall climb sidestep and then get up there super duper fast. There's a whole guard that you hear the music coming in. The guards are actually spawning in right now, but I pretty much avoided them.
Another interesting thing with the barbed wire is, like I said, if you hit the side of the barbed wire, it does a lot of damage, but it also has some knockback. So if the speedrun also uses that, when you hit the side, you get some knockback, and we can use the momentum of the knockback to also move faster through some sections.
Yeah, there's lots of... The barbed wire in this game is just all a little bit buggy. It's another one of those animations that gives you the one frame grounded state, so we can use and abuse it, especially in the any percent category. In this, I try to stay away from the barbed wire because it's just a little spooky, especially on hard difficulty. I really, I can't take the damage. Okay, I can hopefully jump through those guards.
Well.
Yeah, no, that's actually what you're supposed to do. So I manipulated the RNG, something, and I'm just gonna do the same thing again, and this time it'll work. Yep, perfect. Didn't have to go around the guards, exactly like I planned. That's hard mode, folks. We're having fun here. Hopefully a nice little cheeky sliding wall climb, wall boost here. I didn't get the wall boost, but I did manage to skip a bit of it. Oh, there we go. Okay, ignore that. We are falling all over the place. Just another example of how the movement can be quite tricky when it goes wrong. Everything is momentum based, so if I lose momentum, it can be hard to get it back. But we're back on track now, so. A little wall boost here, wall boost into kick on this wall. Missed it. There's a little quirk in this game. We're gonna get nitty gritty just for a sec. There's a quirk in this game where if you wall boost on your character's right side, sometimes the game will just turn you around 180 degrees for no reason. So you have to be really careful. It usually happens if you scroll too slow. So that's what happened there. I got turned around and I lost momentum. Normally I can mitigate that, but in that one specific instance, I just hit a wall. That's alright though. We can just side jump and get back instantly up to speed. And we are coming up on one of the hardest skips again in Glitchless. This is probably one of like the 3 hardest. I am going to essentially try to jam myself into a corner. I have to be constantly holding jump for this trick to work, so I'm going to use a free scroll mouse to do that. And then if it all goes well, I have to do another really perfect jump. So let's see if I can get it here. First, jam myself in the corner. I didn't get the jam high enough. Okay, let's try this a few times, and then I have a backup strat. There it is. We're jammed. Now I'm free scrolling. Okay, line it up well. Stop free scrolling. And now a quick tight jump here. Ah, oh, so close, so close. We'll try it one more time for the marathon. If it doesn't work,
Yeah,
we'll
we
go back
gotta
to
see
strats.
this. Come on.
This is not marathon save. There it is.
Beautiful.
Whew. That still probably saves time over the intended route, like 45 seconds, but it's probably about even now with the backup strat. And that's alright. We didn't lose much time, so that's fine. Tried to get fancy there, it's fine. We'll do a different backup strat here. So yeah, that skips a whole section where the guards chase you and you have to go in an elevator, and poof, it's a big time save. In any percent, we actually do a whole glitch there to get past that section, but in Glitchless we have to get a lot more creative, which is why you'd see me doing a whole free scroll and some tricky jumps. It's a very hard trick. It took me a few hours to learn, but I'm happy that I managed to get it and show it off at the marathon here. I have to wait for this fan to stop
BBGN
spinning.
mentioned that he is using a free scroll mouse and he has the kick bind into the mouse. And the reason for that is a lot of these tricks with these kick jumps are frame perfect. So if you weren't using a free scroll, it's pretty much impossible to do a run like this, because you would be nailing hundreds of frame perfect kicks throughout the run, which is, to say the least, not something a human would normally be able to do.
Yeah, some console runners are cracked. The game runs at 30 FPS on console, and so some console runners do go for these frame perfect tricks, like with their shoulder button, like just a single input. Console runners are a different breed, but on PC we bind jump to scroll wheel, so not much frame perfect. The frame perfect stuff is still frame perfect, but it's a lot easier when you have a nice beefy scroll wheel like the G502, or even if you just have a regular scroll wheel, you can still get away with it.
At least on console they have a 2-frame window because they're on 30 FPS, so that does make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, exactly. The window's twice as long. Okay, gotta grab that pole there so the level actually loads in. Now the level's loaded in, I have to run to that section. This whole section gets skipped in any percent, so again, exclusive Glitchless content for you. And inbounds if you play the inbounds category. I can just run mostly past these guards. These guards are not very dangerous in the grand scheme of things. I am a 2-shot sniper kill, but it's fine, they didn't kill me. Nice little wall run kick there, and then there we go. This section also has guards, but I should be fine. Oh, as I say that, I take massive damage, so we'll see about that.
This is fine. This is fine.
I'm not even worried. It's fine, we're good. They didn't even touch me. Oops. We lost some momentum there, so we didn't do the correct animation. Let's try this one more time. There we go. Skips having to grab a swing pole. There's the vertical kick there to skip the long fall animation. And then cheeky little sliding wall climb over the fence here. Nice little cheeky wall boost there as well. And then we are just gonna make our way through this little factory. This factory, we've been, after getting the intel in the mall, we were told to come to this factory because there's something super spooky going on in the dystopian city, and we need to see what we're unraveling a conspiracy here, folks. That's what you need to know, story check-in wise. So we're gonna make our way through this factory now. With this is a little bit different than I think some of the other sections of the game. We have some tight indoor movement that it's a little bit different than the free-flowing rooftops. A little more claustrophobic, but we do our best to not lose our momentum even in these tight hallways.
There's some nice falling right there.
Yeah, that's another instance of falling just far enough to not die, but still far enough to save some time. Nice little wall boost chain on this wall here. We make our way down the hallway. We love just like flat stretches of wall in this game because you can just wall boost all the way down. And that's the point where I unclick my free scroll and I just let it fly, you know? The perfect moment.
It's just like real life. You can just, run down the side of a wall and just keep on boosting off of it.
It's very funny. If you play this game for a long time, especially if you speedrun it, it starts to have this sort of Tetris effect where you see like geometry in the real world and you're like, oh, that would make a perfect wall boost. Like, oh, I really wish I could wall boost off that. It's very
Ultimately,
funny.
this game is teaching you how to do parkour, so if you want to try parkour, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, I'm not recommending it.
you really shouldn't. You'll die, especially if we do all this stuff I'm doing. But it could be fun. I mean, go to like a parkour gym, you know, learn your moves. And actually, don't do any of that. Just go out there, go to a rooftop, and just start trying it. You'll be fine, probably. All right.
Jump off some barbed wire fences.
Yeah, barbed wire fences are fine. Don't even worry about them. We are coming to the end of Chapter 6. Chapter 6 leads into Chapter 7, which is the boat. It's going to be making our way through a boat, tracking down someone who is important to my sister's framing. So, coming right up on the end here. Nice little wall run kick. I actually use that wall run kick for positioning rather than like losing fall height. The wall run kick, if you do it at a certain angle, pushes you away from the wall. So I use that to get onto that rooftop. Again, just using every bit of movement and mechanic to my advantage to try to get where I'm going as fast as possible.
Do it. I'm going.
And now we just kind of sit in this 30 seconds, it's like a 10-second cutscene. Feels like 30 seconds, am I right? And here's a nice little trick, if I can get it. Whew, where we use the pole there to cancel our fall damage, and we make it to the very bottom. Very quickly.
This is a cool trick right here if you want to explain it, PBGN.
Yeah. I haven't used it at all, but this game has an in-game thing called reaction time, which slows down time. You can actually use reaction time to mess around with the triggers in this game and skip certain loading sequences. So once this dialogue ends, I'm going to start it. So I just started reaction time. And now, just as reaction time ends, the game has to speed me back up to like normal real time. And as it does that, I timed it so it also speeds up a trigger for the load screen. And by speeding up the trigger, I actually managed to skip a good section of this boat ride. Normally this truck ride would be like 45 seconds, it ends up only being about 15. And bada bing, bada boom. Rapid fire, another trick coming up here. You saw me just bonk my head on a random ceiling. There's actually a trigger that extends just below the ceiling there. So once I die, I spawn right at that trigger, and I skip another minute or so of gameplay. Now, lots of valves to turn here. We love valves in Glitchless. In any percent, you can skip all these valves, but in Glitchless, you get to see all the valves in their glory. Bit of funny collision here. You can use to skip most of this room. This room is very slow in the casual playthrough. You have to do some like ledge shimmying, but not for us. And then again, more just tight indoor movement here, exclusive to Chapter 7. There we go. And some more valves here. A little bit of misalignment. Oh, there she is. She popped into place. There we go. And these valves would normally be red and very aesthetic, but you can see now they're just a dull, boring gray because we are playing on hard mode. Now this brings us to the whole reason we're on this boat. We are chasing down a mercenary who in-game lore is an important character, but what you need to know is that they're a boss fight. Right now they have a sniper rifle and they're going to try to shoot me. I'm going to basically just ignore the fact that they're shooting me and just do the fastest route. Oops.
Surely that will not end up going poorly.
Yeah, no, it's fine. They didn't shoot me. Okay, got shot once, but we're good. And now we have to go into a scripted fight sequence. On easy mode, I actually, I'm going to go on this side so I can push them toward the objective as I fight them. I was practicing this.
At the beginning of the fight, that was awesome.
Oh my god, this fight's going terribly. On easy mode, we can infinite combo them. Oh wait, I might get them in the infinite combo. Yes, yes! Oh no, okay, wait, one more kick.
Oh, so close.
Okay, we made it. Yeah, on easy mode, you can infinite combo them. On hard mode, they're a little more, slick. So, I did manage to get the infinite combo for a little bit there, saved a bit of time, but that's sort of a hard mode specific quirk. That boss fight on easy mode takes 5 connected hits, on hard mode takes 9. So we are certainly losing time to like world record in this chapter simply on this boss fight, which is again, you get to see that live not in person, but you get to see that live, which normally no one ever plays on hard mode. Missed a little wall boost there, but managed to make it back with some side jumps, keep our momentum up. This whole chase sequence, another one of those chase sequences where they're supposed to be ahead of me, the character. They just teleported ahead of me. There you go. But if I go fast enough, I should be able to sort of keep ahead of them pretty well. They're behind me right now, for example. Oh, got to turn around on that one. Oh my gosh.
Oh, they're gonna catch up.
They did catch up. They definitely caught up there. They're ahead of me right now. That's alright. Yeah, the collision in this game can be a bit wonky. I'm gonna use the barbed wire here. Oh, never mind. No, I'm not. Didn't hurt me though, so that's good. And I have to wait for them to spawn in here. And I should be able to get infinite combo here, actually. There we go. Perfect. Perfect last boss fight. And that brings us to Chapter 8, the penultimate chapter.
And we'll skip that so you don't get to see who that actually is.
No, you'll have to play the game yourself. The game goes on sale for like $5 every 3 months, so if you haven't played Mirror's Edge, I'd recommend picking it up. It's like a 3-hour playthrough. Play through it once or twice. The first time can be a bit rough if you don't know where you're going, but once you actually start to learn the game and its quirks, and especially if you learn like the side jump and some basic glitches, it can be very, very fun. A big jump coming up here. It's kind of a tight jump. It's literally just a jump, but it's a little spooky, especially because there's a wall to your left and right. So if you just time the jump just wrong, you'll actually get a wall run instead of a regular jump there. It's one of the few times where I think the game sort of gets in its own way there, and you get auto-locked onto the wall. But it's okay, I managed to avoid it with a very last-minute jump and save some good old frames, like 3 seconds probably. This whole section is actually a little bit tight. Normally you're supposed to go down to the left here for this section. I'm actually going to do a very tight wall boost on this pole here to skip over 2 barbed wire fences and skip right to the next rooftop. That's very hard if you're first playing the game, if you don't understand how wall boosts work, but I've been playing the game for a while. Another blind jump here. I set up with a side jump blind and then door cancel to prevent a hard fall. That checkpoint is brutal. There's no checkpoints. Like there's no, if you die, you'll just respawn at the very beginning of the checkpoint. You can literally lose a minute here. So happy to have nailed all the tricks there. Now we're coming to one of the most pleasant, puzzly sections of the game, the atrium. Maybe if you want to add anything, Solmass, feel free. I'm just gonna let this ride though, a little bit.
No, I'm just enjoying the whole flow of this. You've got some excellent parkour, going on. You didn't see that. This is actually going very well.
The walls in this game have this particular area actually. The walls overlap in a way that makes the collision really, really janky. This is like a known choke point for runs just because the walls have like kind of funky collision, and I'm trying to go fast on top of that. This should work though. There we go. We're back on track.
Ultimately, as speedrunners, we want to go fast, but that makes things very dangerous sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. That's what you're seeing here. This is one of the few times you just like go up vertically, and there's some really fun movement exclusive to that you get to see. And that's the atrium.
Let's just say that that we're on hard mode.
Yeah, hard mode. You know what I mean, guys? Hard mode changes the collision of the walls, and it makes everything harder. So that's just, you know, I'm doing my best out here, but I don't practice hard mode. Can I get a, oops, mistimed that, but I should be able to get a nice little slide into the vent here.
I notice a lot of rats in the city. They got a problem.
Oh, they do have a rat problem. And I think that's a perfect cue for this next. I'll show off a little Easter egg here. I think it's a marathon tradition. I'm gonna quit and reload here. It saves time rather than having to descend to this room like the proper way. Real time and in-game time. And now we're coming to the part of chapter 8 that's very fun. Basically, my sister, I've spent this whole time trying to investigate why she's being framed, and like I've made no progress. So she's literally in a prison van and being transported to prison right now. And my solution is to shoot the prison van to save her. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And then I'm gonna trigger an Easter egg by shooting the center of this circle. And if you really want to see the rat problem, that's the rat problem. Nice little Easter egg. There's lots of in-game lore about the rats, and it's just a cheeky little Easter egg there that developers put in. Maybe shoot the center circle. So, anyway, yeah, you can see my sister. Her van crashed. She's probably fine. I'm gonna go save her now. I'm gonna use the rolls here to hopefully survive these falls in a way that I normally couldn't. And if the guards don't just yoink me, which they didn't, we are at the end of chapter 8. That brings us to the final chapter, the Shard, chapter 9, where I'm going to save my sister, who's being I think she's been recaptured somehow, but yeah, she's stuck here. I'm gonna go save her.
Now, this chapter on hard mode actually is very hard, so BBGN's going to be trying to avoid getting shot by too many guards, but like we said earlier, on hard mode they have stormtrooper precision, and BBGN might take a few deaths here toward the end.
Yeah, these guards are like actually cracked. If Chapter 8 is like the platforming, like final boss of the game, this is the combat final boss of the game. So they're just gonna throw tons and tons of enemies at you, and on easy mode I can just run around them. But on hard mode, ooh-wee, do they have good aim. So I'm gonna try to be really tactical and actually purposefully lose time. I'm gonna do a slide kick here to duck behind some boxes. Yeah. And we didn't even get shot once. I promise that's dangerous. I've died there before on hard, but we got really lucky. This next section I'm also gonna take, this is 2014 routing, folks. Before we were fast enough to like run past these guards, this is what we used to do. We go to this guy, he has a little Uzi. He's a really easy disarm, so you grab his gun. And I'm gonna run past this guy. And then I gotta shoot this guy down. He's like with a lot of health. Oh my god. He takes literally the entire gun to kill. But now that he's dead, I should be able to survive this section, no problem. I just gotta go into this, wait for this door to open, and then bada bing, bada boom. Once again, we're gonna use...
Just
Go
like
ahead.
a normal person, you just have to empty an entire magazine until they bring it down.
Exactly. Here's another section where I'm using reaction time, the in-game slow motion mechanic, to my advantage to speed up some triggers. I throw in some tabs there, that also just helps with the timing of the reaction time, and in-game time it doesn't lose any time, because this whole area is a loading screen anyway. If all work happens, that should open 30 seconds before it should. There we go. So we saved another 30 seconds there in a way that's not very flashy, but is crucial for the glitchless category. Unironically, one of the biggest skips to be found in glitchless was that dialogue skip. And now we are just going to make our way through some elevator shafts. Here's a fun instance of how the swing poles are kind of broken. You can use the swing poles to gain a ton of height, like that. They make you just go flying if you do it right next to a wall. So we use and abuse that to get up to that area just a tiny bit quicker than we might normally.
They're not broken at all. This is the glitchless category. What are you talking about?
That's a bag right there. That's a hidden collectible. We collect those in the 100% speedrun, but in glitchless I completely ignore them. Now, this is literally, I practiced this unironically for like an hour, just for hard mode. This section's super easy on hard, but these snipers will two-shot you. So I'm gonna actually play this like, almost, not casually, but like, literally, I'm gonna just hide for a second. Okay, break their line of sight. Now I'm gonna hide here for a second, break their line of sight, and now we're gonna go. Okay, so now only one sniper should be able to shoot me here, so I have to hope he doesn't. He probably won't. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, we should be fine. I made it past the most dangerous part. Now I'm going to use this little bit of collision here. There's a bit of coyote time on wall runs, so I can use that to jump over that fence and make it past these guards. No problemo. Oh, so happy that didn't give me any trouble.
Yeah, jumping off that tiny little blue pipe with the coyote time after it is very hard, so that was impressive. Very good job.
Yeah, thank you. It speaks a lot to like the game's intricacy. You don't actually start a wall run until you are looking at the wall. So there's a lot of intricacy to how you're using your camera. I'll like move my camera away from the wall, then whip it back to the wall to trigger the wall run. That's kind of the technique you see me do there to get the wall run with coyote time at the perfect time. So this game, again, like you could get a PhD in the intricacies of this game's movement. It's very fun, very deep. We have videos on YouTube if you want to look up, like, it's a video by a runner named Audra called Camera Movement Guide if you want to, like, get nitty gritty. I also have a movement guide that explains the basic glitches. But yeah, I'll stop plugging my own stuff and just focus on this final chapter, final battle here. This is basically the last hard bit of the game. I'm going to disarm this guy and then just basically pray that they don't kill me. I have to shoot these servers to open the next area. So let's shoot these. And we're good. We're in the final 30 seconds of the game then. That's the last hard bit. I'm going to do tree strats. Sick. Tree strats are a marathon must.
The helicopter's coming up, so get ready on time.
Yeah, here's another huge time save. This is a minute-long cutscene, but if I quit and reload, it skips the whole thing. And that brings us to the final checkpoint. I have to go a little slow here, otherwise the game will not let you like beat the game. The game will freeze. So I'm gonna go a little bit slow. Hope the guards don't kill me, and time should be in about 5 seconds. Time.
GG.
Whew. That was a decent run, especially for hard mode. In-game time, I have a live split open with the in-game time. That's a 45:11. That is Mirror's Edge Glitchless. Anything you want to say, Soulmass, before I'll say my spiel?
I just want to say thank you for having me. I had a great time, and thank you to No Glitches Allowed for having this run. It was really interesting to see glitchless Mirror's Edge when this is not a category you would normally see people running. So thank you very much, and everybody, remember to go donate. This is a great cause that we're supporting for No Glitches Allowed 10. So remember to go donate.
Yeah, I echo all of that. Definitely get out there and donate. I'll be donating a few bucks after this run to some fun incentives, so I encourage everyone to do that. I'm gonna pause the game so that I don't copyright blast the stream for you. Also, if you want to speedrun the game, go to speedrun.com/me. We got a great URL there, or just mirrorsedge.speedrun.com. We have tutorials, we have a Discord, all the same jazz, and we're a pretty active community, a pretty big community, so come in and say hi. We're very welcoming. If you want to learn the game, I'm always happy to help. And Glitchless is especially an easy category to learn compared to the complexity that is any percent. But yeah, go out and donate. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Black Belt. And that was an amazing run. And a little about our chosen charity for this event, the Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center. In 2011, a local woman named Georgia Onabaus, I always butcher her last name, I do apologize, but she lost her home, and her only focus became how to prevent her family dogs from going back to animal control. Starting out with just an empty shell of a building, Go Rescue soon became not just a place for her current rescues, but a shelter that has grown to rescue over 2,000 dogs to date, and no signs of slowing down. And you can see the video of some of those dogs in the background of our break screen here. So that is what we're raising money for. That is what you're donating for. So you know it's a good cause.